first and foremost, thank you so much for your time.
No, thank
Um,
you for having me.
I have to jump off by asking specifically, was it your idea to shoot 35, or did Nnamdi come to you with that, or there was a discussion both ways?
No, that was like clearly like from his side, like he proposed me to do film and I totally agreed because when I read the script and I was like, oh, one location, one night, and I was worried like how we gonna get the attention of the audience for like more than 10 minutes. And and digitally I think everything kind of looks the same nowadays. So film and the texture, I was like, and no doubt about like using the format. And I think it was a very smart decision, and like, but yeah, came from him.
So I don't mean to take anything away from him at all, because again, since his football career, he's done plenty of acting, but since this is his first feature as a director, were you surprised even coming from him that he'd automatically come with that as an idea, or that was something that also drew you into wanting to do it since he obviously knew what he was talking about and was serious about this?
I mean,
Easily agreeing to do it, excuse me, yeah.
yeah. No, the thing is like, I mean, for me it was two things that I was very curious and very interested, which one, of course, was the script that I couldn't stop reading. And it's like I wanted to know what's like the ending. And and then the other thing, of course, I when I realized that who was Nnamdi, because at the beginning, like I grew up in Mexico. I moved to US 14 years ago, and I'm in the film world. And then I was not knowing that he was like this like NFL star. And then when I Googled it, it's like, oh, who's this director? And then all the information came. I was like, oh wow. So that was another thing that I was very curious of, like how he was like making this decision. But what it was very funny is like we usually never talk about that sports past life. And it was more about sharing these like references. And I was like, I found like a very generous and creative partner, which usually it's more because it's a thriller, no? And usually directors, they have the very strict ideas about how to shoot the thriller. And he was very open for like new ideas and like kind of, he was very clear about, I wanted to make it feel very real, but that's why I want to work with you because I need you to bring this other side, more like artistic ideas, or because he's also the main actor in the movie. So
Yeah.
it's like taking all the risk in the first film, like producing, directing, and acting. So that was a lot of like creative collaboration and a partnership in that sense.
And then going to the idea of not shooting day for night, excuse me. Is that also something where that just comes because it's 35, or was that a discussion that, again, going back to where you're like, well, if we're going to shoot film, I want to do it at night if we can.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's like his main idea, but it's also another group of producers, and they were like, "No, I don't think we're gonna shoot on film. You're in the middle, a cinematographer." And then we made a test, no, with like we shot like, and also that's the luxury is like he's the main actor, so we made the test together on film and in digital. And then we invite the other producers to a screening room, like in a big screen, because I think it's important to see it on a big screen. And then he made like an amazing speech of like saying that, yeah, like I grew up like not eating cereal that, or eating cereal that it was not cereal. And for me, like, no, uh, not serial is digital, serial is film. We're gonna shoot on film. And it was like playback. And then it was this like I remember seeing the faces of the producers being like, oh wow, it's a big difference and like the organic look. And but of course I was also worried it's like an independent film, and I was like, how many roles we gonna have? And then his production side came to me and said, "Don't worry about that. Like that's why you're not here to be worried about how many roles. It's like we are here to show your power." And they were again not very generous that I could choose like the right lenses and the camera for the project and just focus on the creative part and do like whatever I was like thinking that it was the best for the project. And so in that sense, it was. Yeah, I think he was very clear and fighting hard to shoot on film, and we made it.
But when it comes, again, because we've now come into a world, whether or not we all love film, the grain itself, and shooting that way, a lot of productions are going to make you shoot digital. So is there a part of you that needs to reacquaint yourself with certain aspects of the lighting or camera operating in doing film that you were kind of not fresh on at the time?
Yeah, of course, it's a totally different perspective. I mean, I grew up like using film, like analog film, no, like still photography. That's like my beginning
Yeah.
of my career, and then I moved to narrative and documentary. So, but at some point, everything became digital. So for me, it was kind of like, yeah, dream come true to shoot a movie in 35 because I was like, maybe I'm not gonna have that chance in my career, you know. And so when I got that chance, I prepared. I mean, I was sure, no, because I grew up that way. And I remember I used to work for a magazine where I was taking 20 rolls and they were choosing 6 photos and they were printing from the slides to the magazine. There was no Photoshop. So I kind of needed to be very accurate with exposure. And also I remember no consulting Ed Lackman, for example, and telling me you have to expose this way, like you use the 500T by exposing 320, that then you're gonna be safe. And kind of no like studying again because that's part of our job, going back to the books and no reviewing films that I love. And then but of course, that was a big challenge of like shooting by night with dark skin color people and like one location, one night, also kids. That's another interesting thing.
Hmm.
Like you have to divide the scenes when you shoot with kids, and then 2 days later you have to go to the same scene. But then it needs to look the same. And in digital, you just pull out with the DIT, the monitor, and it's like, ah, okay, yeah, great, boom, everything is in the same place. Here, no, you have to go to your notes. You have to remember the exposure and like the position of the light. So it's like a different discipline. But I think everyone gets in another like headspace of like working on film. They know it's like we cannot just roll and like, and then of course, another important part is the actors understands that. Like melissaleo had a lot of experience on that because the roles there are 7 minutes, and sometimes we were in the middle of amazing acting and like, oh, roll out, and I was like, oh my God, but they are all fine, and because there is, I mean, of course, there is always this magic thing about film, and the other funny and nice part is that you don't get the results until 24 hours later, no? So every day we were getting the dailies around 10 p.m. that I was, because we shoot by night from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. So around 10 a.m. getting in my email the dailies, and it was always this like, oh wow, it's like, like kind of, yeah, it's everyone that is like short film, even in pictures, that feeling, when like it's like some sort of like being a child and having this magic toy of like, oh wow, there's like the image came this way, and everyone gets more excited after seeing that.
I actually I was a film runner on Michael Cuesta's 12 and Holding. And we
Oh
did a lot of
wow,
night shooting, and I would be the last one off the set with the film. I would take it to the editing house, let them transfer it. I'd come back the next morning at like 5 a.m. with the betas for everybody to look at. And it was like, even I didn't even get to see it, but that was exciting to me, even, you know?
totally. You know
Um,
well.
is there also, I mean, like, apart from that, well, look, the whole story as a whole it is a horror film in a lot of ways without being a horror film. It's the horror of the themes of these things. But apart from that scene where she is in the house, are there parts of you that feel like you're also kind of cinematically also shooting a horror film in a lot of ways with every way that things are moving through, where you're trying to leave empty spaces to say, like, who knows when next another cop's gonna come in with some other information, or she's going to wake up and come in from this side, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean, not really, because like we always approach like the project as like, it's funny because some critics, they said last year when we were at Tribeca that it was like a poetic thriller. And for me it's more like a drama at the
Yeah.
end, like, and has like all these like human elements. So I was approaching more like, yeah, from the perspective of the storytelling and like kind of trying to take the audience into that journey of like, we start more from the objective point of view, observing this man, like, like working in his house, having this family, and then the intruder comes, and then this like kind of energy gets into like more claustrophobic. The language of the film changed to from objective to subjective. and then the police arrives, and then we go out of the house, and again we go a little bit more calm, and then we go inside the house, and so it was more that approach that for me thinking, oh, it's like this could be like horror or not. Of course, it's by night, it's dark, and it's and you feel stress, no? But it was, I don't think, never like the approach of a horror film. Hmm.
Yeah, I guess the way I think about it is not the film as a whole, but sometimes like, you're so used to being in tight spaces and in darkness, you're just kind of using like the rest of the empty spaces around the house to create a different, wider view compared to just kind of being subject to subject. And a lot of times that ends up also being a horror film thing because they want to use those empty spaces thinking they're going to scare you with it, you know?
Totally. And I mean, and again, it's like we provide like the ingredients, and then in the edit is where they really create these sensations, no? Like, of course, I was operating the camera, and then for me, it was like, yeah, I am this like person walking into the hallway, and then no, and then we shoot it like different size. But then in the edit, with like the sound design and everything, that creates this like atmosphere of like, and because yeah, we just like 2 days ago we're having this talk at the Kodak Clubhouse, and we review a couple of scenes, and especially that one. And it's also so funny to see the scenes like outside the whole thing, because the movie is such like a claustrophobic and goes so fast that you kind of don't have time to process. And kind of having the time to review a scene, just one, it was a completely different experience. But yeah, going to that is it's yeah, it's a lot of like on the edit and me providing like all the ingredients for them to create that like atmosphere. But of course, comes like I'm the first eyes of the movie in that sense, and I have to walk certain way that you feel that tension. No, it's more that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is there part of you that feels, and it's weird to say this because, clearly, as you said, even the fact that you got the chance after a certain point to kind of do a full 35 millimeter film, that satiated a part of you that is something you wanted to do. But whether it be you or for Nnamdi or other people on the set, do you feel that like you've almost spoiled yourselves by wondering, oh, will I get the chance again? Or like, well, because we, not necessarily easily, but since we got the okay to do it, that, oh, it's going to happen again in the future.
Like shooting on
Yeah.
35. Yeah, I mean, there is, yeah, it's hard, and I hope so, no, because that's something that is I love it. Like I just shot like a short film a couple of months ago on 35. And just the smell of the film and looking into the optic viewfinder, there's things that I'm like, I wish I could do this in every project. And I try, I try to push as much as I can, but also I'm very considering like other options, because I understand there are some certain projects that that's possible, and other projects that no. But I know for sure with Nnamdi, in the next projects we're gonna explore the idea of like keep shooting on film, because that's also like a signature as director, and I think he started in that way, and I'm very lucky to be part of the team, and kind of the way to yeah start like the next thing, and think about the format, you know.
Has the process already started? Is there a script? Do you know what the next that project's going to be?
There is like ideas. I think that's like a stage of ideas, and but I yeah, hopefully next year we can start to translate that ideas into something more substantial. But yeah, but now it's like yeah, he's completely focused on the release of the film. I'm also yeah working in a new project that I'm gonna be doing in the fall. But yeah, I cannot wait to get back and work with him. Hmm.
I can't. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Alejandro, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Matthew.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, thank you.